Welcome to another edition of OVDTR's This Week in the Valley. I'm your host, Matt Noonan. Plenty to get to in this show. We'll give you highlights from both Friday and Saturday night. We've got an interview with Aaron Fry of the Boss Series. And of course, we'll give you our weekly winners and weekly schedule for the race weekend ahead. But first, we'll start out with our highlights from the past weekend, beginning on Friday night. Somehow, legendary Hilltop Speedway managed to dodge Mother Nature and run the $1,000 to win AMRA Modified Spring Championships. Kenny Johnson and Booger Garnes lead the field to the green flag. Garnes assumes the early race lead from his outside pole position, but KJ nearly bicycles the car in turn number one, trying to run down the leader. Somehow he keeps the car gathered up under him and manages to stay in the race. Johnson would run down Garnes for the race lead and would even take a hard look to the inside coming off at turn number four, but just couldn't quite get the run off the corner. Coming into the race's final lap, KJ looks low, then goes high in turns 1 and 2, gets a good run on the high side, but loses traction coming off the corner. That gives Garnes a 1 car length advantage. KJ would try one more hard look to the outside in 3 and 4, but couldn't make it stick, and Booger Garnes wins the Spring Championship at legendary Hilltop Speedway. Steve Weigel and Bob Adams Jr. would lead the field to the green flag. A little bit of contact heading into turn number one. Then in the middle of the corner, a whole lot of contact. But somehow Adams managed car strength and would continue on. But it would only last one lap as his car would break up in turn number two 1 lap later. Tough break for Adams. Off of the restart, it would be Andy Bond taking the lead of the race on the outside. He would be followed closely by Chris Garnes. Garnes would make a hard look to the inside through turns 3 and 4, but could not complete the pass. Then as the lead duo would hit turns 1 and 2, something goes wrong on Garnes' car, and his night would end early as well. Bond continues to hang on to the lead up front, but nearly loses it off at turn number 4. Enter Butch Miguel in the number 1 machine as he races Bond side by side for the lead in turns 1 and 2, but Bond, with the run off the high side, able to maintain control of the top spot. And coming down to the line, Bond would hang on to take the checkered flag as Butch McGill would come home in the number 2 position. Saturday night, we crossed the river to Ohio Valley Speedway, and we were in for some great racing. Bond once again up in the top spot as he would lead the field to the green flag alongside Corey Conley, and it would be Conley jumping out to the lead in turns 1 and 2. But Bond would battle back as he rockets off of turn number 2 a few laps later and assumes the top spot of the race. Andy Bond looking for his 2nd straight win on the weekend. On a restart, Conley takes a hard look to the inside, but can't make it stick, loses grip on his race car. Enter Casey Burdett on the inside as Burdett takes over the runner-up spot in the race. He would quickly set his sights on trying to track down your race leader. Burdett was able to get up alongside Bond as the lead duo would race wheel-to-wheel off at turn number 4. Burdett, though, loses the back end of his car but manages to keep it together. 1 lap later, Corey Conley would get back to the inside of Burdett off the back straightaway. Through turns 3 and 4, he retakes the number 2 spot of the race and then starts reeling in Bond for the race lead. Conley, after slipping back in the mid-stages, finds a 2nd wind as he draws up alongside of Bond off at turn number 4, uses the slow car as a pick, and that's all Conley would need to retake the lead of the race. Or was it, as Bond would make a hard move back to the inside down the back straightaway. Bond back to the front, but Conley crosses him over coming back through turns 3 and 4. A great sequence of racing, and the Flying Ace manages to retake the lead of the race as the duo would continue to race wheel-to-wheel. Conley, though, able to hang on and take the checkered flag in what was a very entertaining late model feature at Ohio Valley. How do you follow up a race like that? Well, the modifieds say challenge accepted. Nick Corbett on the inside, DJ Klein on the outside lead the field down to the green flag. And we'd see plenty of drivers run up front in this one. Corbett would take the early advantage with his run in the middle of the racetrack. Klein would hang on up on the outside. Tyler Evans would begin making headway down on the inside of the track. Also keep your eye on that 0-1 machine of Andy Bond as he picks his way up on the outside. But coming down to the line will slow it down as Evans gets alongside of Corbett, just barely gets a wheel in front at the line. That would play a key factor as the caution would come out the next lap, putting Evans up front in the lead. And then we would see some fantastic racings as it's Evans in the middle, Corbett down low, and Andy Bond really digging hard up on the outside. Coming down to the line, take your pick on that one as Bond and Corbett were right together. Evans not far behind as well, and also throw Robbie Evans in there in the number 17 white car. Robbie Evans on the inside now, starting to dig hard as he gets up alongside of Corbett as Bond slips coming off the corner. The lead trio continuing to race. It was still anybody's race as Tyler Evans isn't going away either. Heading into turn number 3, it would be Robbie Evans driving it hard down to the inside as he gets a wheel alongside of Corbett coming down to the line, takes the lead of the race, and then drives it hard into 1 and 2 to start to put some daylight between himself and the rest of the field. Evans then would hang on to that top spot as everybody else would battle hard for second, and Evans takes the win in what was a very entertaining modified race. A great night of action all around at Ohio Valley. Now it's time to take a look at our OVDTR winners from the past week. Be a part of an Ohio Valley racing tradition Saturday, May 3rd at Tyler County Speedway as the Bullring presents the 20th annual Topless 50. For the 20th time, the region's best late model drivers will take the lids off and race 50 laps. This year, a new twist as the Elite 8 Super Late Model Series invades the Bullring for the $3,000 to win main event. For more information, visit TylerCountySpeedwayOnline.com. Don't miss one of the region's great events, the Topless 50, Saturday, May 3rd at Tyler County Speedway. Welcome back to This Week in the Valley. We're joined now by Aaron Fry from the Boss Sprint Car Series. And Aaron, you guys have a big event coming up this weekend to kick off your season, a $5,000 to win non-wing sprint show at Fremont Speedway. That's a pretty big way to kick off your season.
Yeah, like they say about the Daytona 500, about having the Super Bowl to kick off the season instead of at the end of the season. Yeah, Fremont Speedway, season opener, by far our biggest event of the year, $5,000 to win. It's a big show for non-wing sprint cars and a big show, the biggest show the Boss Series in general has ever had.
You know, Aaron, this series has done a good job of filling a niche in Ohio. In years past, we really didn't see a whole lot of wingless sprint action. It always used to be you'd have to go over to Indiana usually to see that, but this series has done a good job of filling that void. Tell us, what gave you the idea to start a non-wing series here in Ohio?
Anybody that knows me knows that I've been racing these cars for quite a while myself. I'm going to race a little bit more this year, but it's my 16th season. And over the years, just being around both the wing and the wingless cars, I found out that you could run a car wingless a lot cheaper on a season-long budget. You could run a lot more races for the same amount of money. So as the talk you hear these days, not just in sprint car racing, in all forms of motorsports, is about controlling the cost of racing. It's gotten out of hand. And the number one way to do it with sprint cars is to take the wings off. It makes the cars a lot more affordable. And just through the years, I know my career is beginning to wind down. And a few years ago, I kept thinking about that. And I knew Ohio, you're right, it is rare to see wingless cars in Ohio until we formed this series. And I just decided there was a market niche there that we could fill, and the series took off after that.
Well, it seems like the series has been pretty popular for you guys so far. You guys have shown pretty good growth in every year that you've been running so far, right?
Yeah, I got to admit, it's even surprised myself. I knew the thing would work. I just figured it would take a lot longer to get to the point where we're at now. We're getting nice car counts. We actually had the highest average car count in Ohio last year when you compare it to other tracks and even other regional series. And we had 54 cars at our Eldora finale, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the highest car count of any sprint car show in Ohio last year.
And that growth is really reflected in your guys' schedule this year. It looks like you guys have a lot of big events coming up.
Well, after we leave Fremont Speedway, the very next weekend we go to what we kind of consider our home racetrack, the Wayne County Speedway. Wayne County helped me get off to a good start there in 2011, whenever the series was pretty new. Jason Flory up at Wayne County has been excellent to work with, and we're there on Mother's Day weekend, Saturday, May the 10th. And that's always a good show. We've had winners come from deep in the field. It just seems like really good racing there at Wayne County Speedway. And then after that, we head to Eldora for our first of two shows over at Eldora Speedway, and we're really excited to be getting a second date there. We've had 2 October shows that have just been fabulous, and now they've added us on Family Fun Night for $8 general admission. They've now added football sprint cars.
Yeah, it seems like you guys have done a lot to spread out the races. You have multiple events in each month. Looks like a good tour you guys have put together.
We have a total of 16 races scheduled this year, and there's still a possibility we may add a show or two, but they would be late in the year. I'm a firm believer that you don't schedule a race any less than 3 months out. That way drivers and fans alike have time to plan for getting to an event. So we're looking at possibly adding a show or two in August or September. But yeah, we have a couple of new venues on the schedule. Raceway 7 up in Conneaut, Ohio is new on our schedule, and the Montpelier Motor Speedway, which for me is neat. I'm into racing history, and Montpelier is one of the oldest active tracks in the country. I believe its racing heritage dates back right at 100 years. And so we'll be our first trip over to Montpelier also.
Well, Aaron, we wish you guys the best of luck here in 2014. We're glad to see the series growing and thriving. Hopefully we'll run into you here down the road.
Hey, I hope to see you at the racetrack. Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, Aaron. That's Aaron Fry from the Boss Series as they're getting set for a big non-wing sprint show at Fremont Speedway this weekend. $5,000 to win. Should be a great event. Give them a look if you get the chance. Coming up on This Week in the Valley, we'll take a look at our weekly schedule ahead. Plenty of big races coming up this weekend, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Ron's Auto Center in Chester Hill, Ohio is proud to support OVDTR.com. The next time your personal vehicle needs a pit stop by Ron's for complete auto service. And when you're on your way to the races, stop in for a wide selection of deli meats, cheeses, pizza, subs, snacks, drinks, ice, and more. Ron's Auto Center, the one-stop shop for every race fan's needs, and a proud supporter of OVDTR.com. Welcome back to This Week in the Valley. We just spoke with Aaron Fry from the Boss Series as they're getting set for a big weekend race ahead at Fremont Speedway. But that's not the only big race on the schedule this week. Here's a look at OVDTR's weekly schedule. On Friday night, Southern Ohio Speedway hosts the annual Southern 100 for late models. $10,000 to win in that great event. Eldora Speedway hosts the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars in one of their big events of the season. At I-77 Raceway Park, it's the Mike Sampson Memorial. A big event at Midway Speedway as they'll be paying the modifieds over $2,500 to win and late models $2,000 to win on a big night for both divisions. A $1,500 to win late model special at Attica. Moeller also with a $1,500 to win special. Limaland with a $1,000 to win modified special event. And season openers at Beckley and Elkins, along with Raceway 7 and regular shows on top at legendary Hilltop and Lernerville. Then on Saturday night, the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars return to Eldora Speedway for night number 2 of their doubleheader. We mentioned it earlier in the show, the Boss Series with a $5,000 to win event at Fremont Speedway. That's some serious cash for non-wing sprint cars. Should be a great event. At Tyler County Speedway, it's the annual Topless 50, one of the region's great events, paying $3,000 to win. Wayne County Speedway hosting a late model special for $1,500 to win. Mods racing for $1,500 to win, and a special at Atomic Speedway. The Ohio Valley Sprint Car Association invades Skyline Speedway. It's the Sportsman Showdown at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. Season openers on tap at 35, Brush Creek, and Waynesfield. And then regular shows at Deerfield, Hilltop, Oakshade, Ohio Valley, Princeton, Roaring Knob, and Sharon. And a full Saturday evening of racing. Plenty of big events in the first weekend of May. Hopefully you can make it out to at least one of them, and hopefully Mother Nature cooperates as well. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of This Week in the Valley. For our entire staff at OBDTR, I'm Matt Newton. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the races.